I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Nitty Natty. Today I'm going to be planning my fall project. So it is September, actually I don't know what date it is, hold on. It is September 4th today, and I'm hoping to plan projects basically through the end of November. And it sounds really silly, but I am feeling so overwhelmed by this task. I've kind of been putting off making my plans until the last minute. And the reason that I need to kind of make these plans and have a good idea for the next 8 weeks, as it were, is because we are leaving in just 2 days, actually like 36 hours from now. We are leaving my parents' house where I am now, and we're going to be traveling to 12 states in the Northeast. And I need to make sure I bring with me just about everything that I need. Of course, there's always a little wiggle room. My parents can send me some stuff, but I want to have a good idea of what I want to bring. And I want to make sure it's not going to be too much stuff because I have a really limited amount of space in our van. So yeah, it's a little silly that I'm feeling so overwhelmed by this, but I have a theory. I think it's not really the projects that are making me feel overwhelmed. It's more just life itself. There's lots of things going on around travel that make things very stressful and just life in general. And I'm feeling pretty anxious about that. And then you add to it that we're leaving in a few days. And then you add to it that this thing, knitting and crochet, that normally brings me joy is not making me feel good right now. And I think that that just adds to everything. So that's what I'm trying to do with the project planning, is like get it down on paper, sort it out in my mind. And so it does come back to that feeling where it feels really good. It's interesting because there's so much in life that we have not a lot of control over, and really we don't have much control at all. But it does feel like with knitting and crochet, I have a little bit more control. And so I find when life is getting overwhelming, I really look towards my projects to give me that semblance of like, hey, everything else might be wild. Everything else might be, I can't know exactly what's coming up the next week. I don't know exactly where we're staying in 3 days, but I do know that like I'm going to be working on this sweater and it's going to make something beautiful. So I think that's where I'm at right now. And I am trying to just embrace it. I've already been doing a little bit of brainstorming and it's already making me feel good, but I do have this like tightness in my chest right now as I do things. So if you hear that, if you hear that coming out a little bit, that's all that is. Any good project plan starts with a brainstorm, and I have lots of these on my channel at this point. Actually, once I did a little brainstorming, I went back and I watched my one from January because I wanted to see, what was Natalie in, actually it was, the end of January, so it came out in like early February. What was beginning of year me? Now it's September. So what was I thinking in the beginning of the year as far as where I wanted my projects to go this year? What did I want to accomplish? Have I been getting those things done? And is there anything that's on my current brainstorming list that matches that beginning of year one? Because that would be a clue for me that I want to work on that thing. So I just started with a little bit of a brainstorm, writing down any of the current projects that I have, writing down, actually, that just made me remember another one. Blanket of knowledge, actually 2 more, and my travel blanket. Okay, today, right now, it is almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have somewhere that I'm going to be going to in just a little bit. I wasn't actually going to start this video today. I was going to do it in the morning, but I had some time, and I thought, it might actually be good for me to go ahead and brainstorm and then let it kind of marinate for the night. Just like you just saw, I remembered something else. Like let myself, just think on things for a bit, remember things, kind of, let my brain sleep on this. And then tomorrow I'll be fresh and ready to make decisions in the next stage. So here are just some of the things that I'm brainstorming and thinking about. I have my current projects. I have my travel blanket that I haven't touched in a while, feeling pretty guilty about that. I have my blanket of knowledge that I also haven't touched in a while, feeling a little guilty about that one too, especially since I keep receiving yarn for that one and I haven't been working on it. To be fair, we have been traveling in an airplane for the last 3 weeks, but anyway. I also have my tessellated sweater. Ooh, I should get that. This one is a mighty old whip, and I started this last year for Rhinebeck, The fronts are done. I'm working on the back. It needs sleeves. I was enjoying this project for a while. Then I wasn't really enjoying the project, and it's just been sitting here for over a year in a giant suitcase. I think this is the last current project that I have, but this is really tangled. I just started a muscle burrow hat for myself with some special yarn that I got in Alaska. So that all made the list. I also have quite a lot of projects coming up for different holidays. Halloween is one of my favorite times of year. And so I've always wanted to have just a very fun October experience, kind of like how I reserve time in December to do Advent making. I want to do that in October too. And the last 5 or so years, I have done the West Knits shawl make along. And I kind of decided last year that I'm going to take a break. I'm still very tempted by the Go-Go Dynamo from Stephen West, but I decided, you know what? I'm not going to do the shawl for this year, and I will be okay. I will make it through the FOMO. And instead, I am getting a Beetlejuice Advent that I'm really excited about. So I need to carve out time, in October for that. So that's really making me think about my other projects too. And then I just got the Woolen Women box for October, and I want to work with this yarn because it's really fun and festive as well for Halloween. And then I also have another special yarn I want to work with. Basically, I was thinking through, I have all these ideas for big projects, but what about the small projects? I like to have something on the side to be an easy project, a good project for hiking. And so I think between these and my muscle burrow hat, I will be set for the next few months. But oh, it's so pretty. Jenny of 316 made this sock blank for the Love and Stitches membership. It's a little sock set. And so I really want to work through that because we're going to be, talking about sock blanks and stuff in my membership. So I'm like, okay, I have to keep in mind, not just projects I want to work on or projects I am working on, but also yarns I want to make sure that I'm using. So those are on my list. And then I have an eco printed sock tube also from 316 that I need to find because I got it last year, and we're also doing that in the membership. So there's a lot going on here. Last couple things is I have a couple of big projects that I want to work on, and I've just been really into garments lately. I'm finishing up a garment right now. I finished this right before I started that one. So I'm like, what's my next garment? So it's going to be between the tessellated and some other things. So the first thing that I've thought about making is the Third Avenue tee by Brianna Lupino. It recently came out. It's a really cute t-shirt. It has a really nice hemline look. And then the back has this really cute crossover swoop thing that I love so much. I'm wondering if it's already getting too late in the year for me to really be thinking about t-shirts. So the other thing that I'm thinking about is I really want a comfortable throw-on cardigan. I have my comfortable throw-on sweatshirt now. I don't have a cardigan at all. I don't have any cardigans that I am enjoying wearing right now. And so I have in my head this fluffy pink cardigan that I want to make. And I haven't seen any designs that match what I want to do. So I'm thinking about just making something up for myself, which I've only done once before with help when I made my butter swatch. This was a long time ago. This was early in New York. And I used an app in order to come up with all the numbers. This I would be doing from my own head, basically, with the help of a little bit of patterning. So I don't know if that's a good idea to start when we're getting back on the road. I do know myself, and I know that easy, simple projects that are already started are best, especially because travel just gets so busy. There's no groundedness at all. And if I can have my projects established and decided on, that helps me to kind of feel like wherever we are, I feel at home. So I've let myself brainstorm and just get it all out on the page. I think there are going to be more things that come up overnight, but at least I've got this going. And then it really comes down to decision-making time. And like I said, I'm not doing that this afternoon. I'm going to do that tomorrow, or at least fully decide on it. But I did want to go back and look at how I was feeling at the beginning of the year. So I rewatched my video about my intentional wardrobe plans. Essentially, this year, I have decided that I want to make sure when I'm making garments, they actually fit in my wardrobe. So I talked through how I made those decisions, how I chose the patterns that I did. I've even pivoted on some of the patterns once I've gotten to that stage of making them. But basically, I had one project for each quarter of the year. And I am so proud of myself that I've actually finished all of those. I had a hat and cowl for the first quarter of the year. I finished both of those. I made a muscle burl hat and I made a traveler's loop, and I wear them all the time. I then wanted to make a t-shirt for in the spring, and I made a t-shirt. It was a little bit later than I planned, but I did make the twisted t-shirt and I love that. And then I wanted to make a sweatshirt in the summer, and I recently finished this. So I was like, okay, what did I actually decide on doing for the fall? And the answer to that was a Christmas pullover. So I decided long ago that it would make the most sense to start, a winter, holiday, Christmas pullover sweater. I've wanted to do this for years, starting it as early as September. And wouldn't you know, it's September. So now as I'm looking down my list, I've put some little stars. Hold on, I have written something on here that is sort of a secret. Can I cover it up? Why did I write that on there? Well, because I need to think about it. Okay. I put some little stars on the projects that fit into my intentional wardrobe, because that is something that I want to make sure that I honor and that I do. So the Salty Day sweater is probably what I'm going to be making for my winter sweater. I don't have yarn for it yet, but now I can be on the lookout for it. But I also really want to make that fluffy pink cardigan. So it's just going to come down to tomorrow when I actually, kind of map out a little bit. Like, I am gone for 8 weeks, but it's also only 8 weeks. And not that I have to finish everything I bring with me in that time, but I want to be realistic with the things that I bring. I don't want to overwhelm myself. And I really won't have that problem of not having enough, because where we're going, there is yarn everywhere. We're going to tons of yarn stores. So I'm going to let that marinate for the night, and we will be back in the morning to make some decisions. It is a brand new day, and yesterday, after doing some planning and getting my thoughts out in my notebook and just kind of looking at things, the task felt so much more manageable. However, today I'm feeling a lot of stress about our upcoming trip. I think just business stuff in general, and I have that tightness in my chest again. So another day, another battle. I think this is going to help just getting everything finalized and organized. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I've gathered up here all of the potential projects. There are several projects I named that I don't yet have yarn for, but thinking about the level of commitment to other projects or to already started projects or projects I'm planning in the next couple of months, it's helped me narrow down my new projects quite a bit. For now, I am crossing off my fluffy pink cardigan from the list. Really want to make that, but it's just not the right time right now. And also the 3rd Avenue tee. I think I'm ready to move into sweaters. And I think, if anything, I want to prioritize my winter Christmas time sweater. And that's probably going to take me a while, even though, especially because I don't have the yarn yet. So that will be the first thing that I'm going to start searching for. I am going to start a fresh new page, and I'm going to try to make some project plans for the upcoming months, like by month or by week. And I've done a lot of videos on this where I do like my monthly planning. I haven't done things that way in a while, just because I'm working on fewer projects now. I often have less time to knit than I used to, but then sometimes I have more. I don't know. My project making has just always evolved over time. And so I like to try different methods of planning. So I'm just going to write out the months: September, October, November, and I'm going to list some things that I know would kind of adhere to those certain months. It is September already, and what I have currently going, really my only active whip right now, is this muscle burrow hat, and it's grown since I showed you yesterday, and I'm feeling much better about it. I switched the needles on it. I really just need to sort out what project bag I'm bringing, because I'm probably not going to bring this one. It's a little bit bulky for the size that I have. So I think the only thing, sorry, as I cross my legs, the only thing going in September right now is my muscle burrow hat. Actually, that's not true. Ideally, I will also cast these on. This is the yarn that I showed yesterday. That's our membership yarn. It's really fun. You know, September is still summer. I want to do something bright and fun. So I will probably make these socks, which we are calling Endless Summer socks. I'm going to the movies later today. I thought I would bring my muscle burra hat, but I'm not sure that yarn is going to be easy enough to work with. So we'll see if I have time today. I've got to do some winding because I don't have a winder in the van. I've got to do some winding so that I can avoid having to wind stuff by hand later or having to ask or rely on other people to wind my yarn. I definitely feel better if I can be self-sufficient on that. So I'll probably be splitting this and winding it because it's a double stranded. There we go. Can you see that? Double stranded, which is very cool. So I can make matching socks. So maybe I'll do that later today. Actually, that's the other thing that I'm kind of writing out here is a task list for myself for these different projects because I know I need to get them done today because we leave tomorrow. Now looking into October, I'm going to be getting some yarn for a project that's going to be my priority, which is a Beetlejuice countdown. And that is going to take up probably most of my stitching time in October, which is starting to make me think that maybe I don't even need the sweater project that I was thinking about bringing. This is a bulky thing, so we'll work backwards to that. But I'm doing this Beetlejuice calendar and I'm going to make a blanket, and I don't have the yarn yet, so that's fine. It's not taking up space, but I will be getting it before October 1st and then working on that all month. And then I want to bring this to have another pair of socks. So this is another thing that I will need to wind. I'm also going to add to my task list. I want to grab one of my Halloween project bags because I do have some really cute ones. And that way I can be all like themed and fun for October. It's only September 4th today, but that's going to be coming up like before we know it. So I'm going to add that to my list and also to wind. This color is called Halloween Town. So wind that up, then that will be all decided for me. And I will make those socks in October. Nothing fancy, but this is what this looks like so far. Oh, I just realized I also need to wind this yarn because this is also for my muscle burrow hat that I'm currently working on. So that leaves November with kind of a big blank. And definitely by November, I hope to be already working on my sweater that I want to have done to wear in December. I probably want to start that, you know, at least in October and maybe earlier. So the reason I'm thinking through that is I realize I only have so much time in the day. And for me, that means I only have so many slots for projects. So I usually have kind of a main project that I'm working on. Sometimes it will alternate between two projects and then a secondary project, usually something that's a little simpler, smaller, portable. And it feels like I already have that covered for these next few months. So I have a simple, easy project for September, a second simple, easy project for September, and then my big project is kind of open, right? For October, I already have a big project, my Beetlejuice blanket, and then I have a secondary easy project. I can definitely see myself wanting one more thing in October to work on, something that's a little more complex, because the blanket I'm planning to do is maybe 5 rows of double crochet per day, which will take me a couple of hours, but it's not really like as stimulating as doing something more complex like this Salty Days sweater that I want to make. So I think what I'm going to write for myself here as a goal, and this is always flexible, in September, I'm going to find the yarn for Salty Days. And then in October, by October, I'll have the goal of casting on Salty Days. And then in November, that will kind of be my main focus, is working on that. Also thinking now, we are going to be doing some charity making in October. So I need to leave some brain space for that. I don't exactly know what I'll be making yet, probably some hats and things. And though I do have yarn here that I could use, it might be better to wait and see what the charities are really needing, like if they have any specific materials. And like I said, I'm not going to be short on finding any sort of, yarn. If I need to go to a yarn store or even a big box store, that should be pretty accessible to me. So filling all of that in, this is looking pretty full for now. The other thing that I don't have written on here is I have a design that I'm working on that I need to finish by the end of September. So my brain feels pretty full for September, even though I just have a handful of easy projects. I don't even know if I want to add anything else. I'd rather feel like some sort of completion at the end of September. Did I just say October before that? I'm talking about September. I need to have a design finished by the end of September because it comes out in October. But I'd rather have some sort of like completion rather than have too much going on. So this project, this sweater, I've really debated it. And honestly, right before I turned the camera on this morning, I was ready to say, I was like decided in my mind that I was going to work on this because I was thinking, you know, I'm not going to do the cardigan because it's going to take too much brain space. And I'm not going to do the t-shirt because I think I'm not in the mood for t-shirts right now. I'm more in the mood for sweaters. But now looking at what my time actually looks like, I don't even really see the space for this project anyway. So rather than drag this along and take up a lot of space in my cabinet and make myself feel guilty about it, I think I'm just going to put this away. I've got too many things I've already committed to. I mean, this is a lesson in itself. Maybe I need to stop committing to so many things mentally, and that's fine. But yeah, I think that makes me feel a lot better. So I just like spit everywhere. Okay, so it's time now. I think I'm good. I've got my muscle row, my socks, and that's it for September. My Beetlejuice blanket, my October socks, and casting on salty days and some charity making in October. That's a lot. And then my salty days for November, plus whatever else comes around. We'll see at that point. So on my task list, I think it's time to tackle that. I think I can get that done in the next little bit here and really get myself packed up and ready to go. I've saved some time for myself later this afternoon to pack all those other things like my toiletries and my clothes and all of that stuff. And it's just like, if I can have the knitting stuff done, I'll at least feel like my entertainment is there. So I need to also find my sock tube. I forgot to mention that. When am I going to work on that? Maybe I will do that. I think I maybe will do that in November because anyway, so many details that are not that important, but I need to go find it. So let's do some moving around here. I need to go get my winder. I need to get some project bags. I need to wind some yarn and find some yarn. Welcome to upstairs. I don't know if I've ever brought you up here before. I have this giant tub that when we moved out of New York, I packed, and there's a lot of stuff still in there. So I'm hoping that the yarn that I bought last September is somewhere in this. I've also been adding to, I mean, there's going to be a big organization task happening here at some point later this year or early next year. The yarn that I'm looking for is from when we started traveling, but I don't know, like, I don't know where it got put or if I mailed it home to myself. I mean, this truly is just going to be kind of a trial and error sort of thing. Like, there's no organization here. The other thing though that I am pretty confident I can find, actually I think I see it. This might be a little trickier than I thought because I thought I had all my Halloween stuff up here, but I do have a little pouch from Coven Collective, so I'm going to take that. But I remember opening up my Halloween project bags, and maybe I opened them up recently, so maybe they're still downstairs. So I might be going back to the bedroom if I can't find them in here. Do you ever just want to get rid of all your stuff and start over? Okay. I found it. Okay. This is what I was looking for. I think this is my only Halloween bag. So definitely taking that with me. One thing found, one more to go. I am working on this. I think that can be said. I am working on this. I am feeling in some ways better, but mostly way, way worse. And I feel like I need to apologize because I do try to make these sort of inspirational and encouraging. Most of the time, I actually feel pretty natural as somebody like to organize and everything. I had a lot of practice with it, but it's just not coming naturally today. So maybe this video is meant to help you feel like you're not alone if you get a little overwhelmed when organizing things. The biggest emotion that I'm feeling right now as I'm getting through everything. So this is what I've done. I basically brought downstairs the things that I found and I kind of made little piles of things. I do think I'm going to bring this bag regardless of it being practical, because practical in the sense of it fitting. It's a very practical project bag and I just really like it. So I'm just going to bring it and I'm just going to have multiple projects in it because it will basically take up entire vertical space in my little cubby. See, I don't even have words. I took quite a bit of stuff upstairs. I was trying to find that sock tube and so far I haven't found it. And I think I'm just going to say that's okay. Not meant to be right now. I don't need to work on that project. I will eventually find it when we get back to my parents' house in a couple of months. I am going to be on the daily working for 30 minutes to an hour to just get things organized and organized and organized, because as I was taking stuff, I took a lot of stuff upstairs to where my other yarn things are to just kind of clear them out of here, because I was literally like tripping over stuff and making myself crazy. Have you ever gotten to that point in your organization where you're just like, everything is just driving you nuts? And yeah, mostly what I was feeling, where I was getting at is mostly what I was feeling is a lot of guilt. A lot of guilt for having brought so much stuff in and not worked with it, not even like put it away properly. Like right now, I guess giving myself a little grace, I don't really have a place to store things in the way that I used to, which is I had a nice yarn shelf. I had a lot of space in my apartment that was like clear and easy to organize on. And then, it was very easy to put stuff away. But right now we're in somebody else's house, right? We're in my parents' house, and it is my fault that I have let my own stuff get this disorganized and messy. But at the same time, it's like there's not really a space for us here to like set up things and organize things and put things away. So giving myself a little grace for that. But yeah, I feel as I was carrying all that stuff upstairs and looking at all the yarn that I love or loved when I received it, and then I haven't done a thing with it yet, I'm just like kind of just feeling really guilty. So yeah, that's how I feel today. I think that just tells me even more that it's important for me to keep things simple in these next couple of months for my project. So feeling even better about making the decision not to do the tessellated. I can still do it. Excuse me. I can still do it later, and feeling okay about not finding that sock tube. In the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe I'll find it when I'm packing up my clothes later. It's very unlikely, but I'll let you know if I do. So the only thing really left here to do is some winding, but with the way that I'm feeling right now, like literally, I keep stepping on Toaster's squeaky toy and I'm like my reaction to it is not okay. I'm going to take a break and I'm going to go to the gym, because that's something I had on my, list of things to do to be the best person I can today. And so I love going to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to come back. I'll get some things wound, and reminding myself if I don't get them wound, I have 2 hands that can wind yarn when I'm ready for it. And that's okay too. So this is a little bit of a different video than my normal organization ones, but thanks for sticking it out with me all the way to the end. I appreciate you so much. And with whatever you're going through right now, whether it's project related or, life related, more like a projection of your life onto your projects right now, I'm with you. I hear you. I love you. And I hope that everything just brings a little bit of peace for you today. Yeah. Do something fun with your projects today. How about that? All right. I'm ending this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye.